Since the dawn of time, gamers always tried to optimize their gameplay by any means necessary. Whether it was through the use of elaborate movement mechanics like bee-hopping and rocket jumping, or through sheer persistence and day-to-day target practice, this constant rush for optimization and competitiveness led to the discovery of many obscure mechanics that gave you an edge during combat. From engine complexities that impact how things interact with each other to the entirety of Smash Melee, there is always something unintended lying under the hood. And if to believe Capcom, this is how combos came to light. While the movement got significantly refined and expanded on by the few that dared to touch it, the idea of cancelling an animation and linking one attack into another didn't really exist outside of fighting games. There is something strangely satisfying about seeing your screen explode when you sort 3 apples horizontally, so it's no surprise that many games adopted this formula in one way or another. If I had a penny for every game in which you juggle your enemies in the air while a heavy metal OST is blasting through the speakers, I'd have a shit ton of pennies. So that begs the question, what about FPS games? Well, there was a significant push for more team-oriented games in recent years, with more emphasis on teamwork rather than individual mechanics. Which is somewhat understandable, everyone wants to be the big new esport title because that's where the money's at. Usually. So would you believe me if I said that it took an indie Devil May Cry inspired Quake-like to implement actual combos inside an FPS game? ULTRAKILL is a game. The way you shoot your weapons tends to play a rather big role inside most FPS games, so making this part of the game fun and engaging should be high up on the list of priorities during game's development. Obviously, multiple factors play a role in making a great first-person shooter, but let's be honest, I don't think anyone's playing Cruelty Squad for its political commentary. ULTRAKILL, being the love child of Devil May Cry's combat and basically any arena shooter from 2000s, unsurprisingly knocks it out of the park in terms of gunplay. Take the Marksman for example, one of the most recognizable weapons from the game thanks to its one very unique property: money. Everything in ULTRAKILL works on this one fundamental principle called "wouldn't it be cool if", and the coins are no exception. The idea is simple: you shoot a coin and the bullet ricochets towards the nearest enemy. Now do the same thing but with 2 coins and a rail cannon, and congratulations, you just made a taser for the extra stubborn. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, from learning the timings to hit a 2-frame long split shot window to punching the coin against the wall. The rabbit hole of weird complexities presents a skill ceiling that is way higher than other FPS games. And this applies for almost every weapon in ULTRAKILL. You'd be hard pressed to find a gun that doesn't have a glossary worth of combinations attached to its wiki page. The sheer amount of options a player can take at any given time makes every encounter feel unique. Especially when the cool things you do are accompanied by the hilariously overblown impact frames and the exceptional sound design made specifically to give you tinnitus by the age of 20. And that's without mentioning the style meter which tracks the combos you do and the many TOD combos that are practically required at the high level of play. Hopefully other game developers will take a page out of ULTRAKILL's book and expand on this idea of combos in FPS games even further sometime into the future. Now, have you ever wondered how would ULTRAKILL play out as a multiplayer game? Pyro as a class is a true embodiment of versatility in video games. He's got virtually every tool under the sun to fit your personal preference, so it's no surprise that he's also gifted with the most expressive playstyle in all of TF2. Combo Pyro, as is commonly known, is an interesting case of a well-rounded support class turned into an offensive powerhouse with an unapologetically high skill ceiling that if played well might feel like it's untouchable. The core part of the Combo Pyro experience is, as you can imagine, comboing your weapons to fully optimize the damage you can deal, and there is a lot of optimizations to do. By pairing up the right weapons, you can exponentially boost your damage output to go from struggling to burn down a scout to fucking disintegrating him in a blink of an eye. The flare gun alone is probably the most fun weapon in the entire game. Not only is it hype as fuck to snipe enemies with -90s across the map, but also the sheer amount of niche tech that it boasts makes mastering the flare gun genuinely rewarding. You live and die by the pinpoint precision and the pure skill required to hit your shots, making using this weapon way more satisfying than its counterparts. If you play your cards well, you can swat scouts and snipers like they're houseflies, but overestimate your abilities and you'll end up smelling flowers from underneath. And with the addition of the extinguisher, you can at any time shift the battle's momentum with a one clean hit that can very easily lead into a sizable advantage and an axe to the head. Air Blast is another mechanic under our disposal that this playstyle relies on heavily, which, as expected, also has a shit ton of gimmicks that go along the theme. So much as aiming downwards while air blasting will allow you to blast your enemy into the air, restricting their movement and opening them to the minus 280 they're about to eat. And again, that's just a one example. Between the now legendary air blast jumps that are objectively the sickest thing you can pull off in TF2, and the many reflect combos, learning how to airblast properly will elevate your gameplay to new heights. In comparison to ULTRAKILL, the perspective has now shifted, and instead of hunting down mind flyers, you get to style on actual living and breathing players. Never mind, this dynamic, the rush that you get after landing a sick flare or the thrill of being high up in the air with mere seconds to find a target, and all of it being done in a multiplayer environment is what makes combo pyro so fucking cool. It's not often that you see a character inside a multiplayer game that can be played so creatively and get so rewarded for actually experimenting and pushing the game's engine to its limits. Like, there is an entire subgenre of TF2 YouTubers that strictly make pyro montages showcasing either the latest tech or the sickest fucking frags you will ever see done in a video game ever. If you haven't tried it yet, please give this playstyle a try and experience for yourself just how stupid fun this playstyle really is. I rate it, cherry bomb. It has very high highs, but it also gets annoying at times. This next section of the video is going to be a bit more broad, as it pertains not to one specific game, but a mechanic present in a vast majority of FPS shooters. Because if you think about it, switching between two weapons is sort of a combo, right? You might have heard the term quickswitching before, or at least one of the many variations of it. It basically describes when you quickly switch between your weapons, cancelling the reload animation after each shot, and by which absolutely fucking min-maxing your DPS potential. This is one of those mechanics that heavily shape how the gunplay works, especially in fast-paced FPS games, where squeezing the most out of your weapons is basically a requirement at higher difficulties. Or, you know, just in deathmatch. Doom is one of those games where the whole idea of gunplay almost fully revolves around switching your weapons constantly, so it's no surprise that quick switching is recognized as a full-on mechanic, with Doom 2016 and its deathmatch mode leading the way for its more mainstream utilization. Once you get a hang of it, you develop certain flow to the gunplay. Enemies that were once a major roadblock suddenly go down in one string. It is a very distinct rhythm that quite literally puts the art in arthritis. With that in mind, many Doom-inspired games have also introduced this mechanic, from ULTRAKILL and its shotgun swapping to playing fucking Red Dead Redemption in Reaver. Quick switching has cemented itself as a great way of heightening the skill ceiling without imposing itself on players that fancy seeing the sunshine from time to time. Hell, even Fortnite had it at some point, with its infamous double pumps that very well may have been the most fun way of playing Fortnite ever. It took a fair amount of skill to use, but in return you were granted the coolest fuck off way to dominate the battlefield, because that's what the combos are after all. They're fucking cool. Whether it's hitting that one frame perfect combo that you've been practicing for hours, or absolutely bullying the enemy med with flares across the map, combos are extremely satisfying to perform. The element of gambling your life and putting your ass on the line for a chance of hitting that sick string in a split-second decision after the enemy made a mistake is so incredibly empowering. And seeing your practice pay off in a real match when you do actually land that combo gives a dopamine rush like no other mechanic does. It's hard to put into words how fucking addicting it is to pull off combos constantly. It's just something you have to experience on your own. And the aspect of player expression provided by the inclusion of combos makes each combat encounter truly unique, because depending on your goal, the way you structured your combos will vary, making for a way more engaging fight. So then, why aren't there more FPS games with combo mechanics? There are two main reasons that first come to mind. The first one being non-interactiveness, aka the reason why Smash got made. You might have picked up on this already, but when one person is doing the combo, the other one isn't exactly able to do anything about it. And this is often a point of contention in regards on how combos should be handled by the developer. That's not always the case, as many combo-reliant games usually feature a way of countering said combos. However, while Sakurai isn't always the brightest, there isn't that much that you can do when you get hit with a launcher. Sure, that's not a problem in single-player games like ULTRAKILL or Reaver, but I think you can see how being stun-locked for 3 hours may seem like a one-sided experience. The other thing is that combos aren't very accessible off the go. It may come as a surprise, but shooting a small object that you've thrown in the air isn't exactly the easiest thing to pull off when you just started playing ULTRAKILL. Combos are very technical in their nature and usually require some sort of practice before getting them fully down, and even some more to use them efficiently. This, unfortunately, serves as a great filter of players that aren't as interested in investing time into learning the game that they're playing and would much prefer spend time spamming projectiles across the map. In all fairness, this could be easily circumvented with solid single-player content, but yeah. So here's my plea to the developers. Please, for the love of God, put combos in your FPS games. ULTRAKILL is a great blueprint, just copy whatever Hakita cooks up in his kitchen and make it multiplayer, I beg. They said as the monkey paw curled and Paladin's developers got to work. Fuck, not like that.